Live from the WGBS studios. Get your cup of coffee or get your shot of whiskey. It's time for Coffee Chat with Sam and Janet. Good morning, good morning. Happy Friday.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Oh, this is good to the last drop. Come on in here, y'all. Come on in. There are our link boards, if you will. We greatly appreciate it. Good morning. Good morning. My lighting is a little off. My head is shining, though.
You all nice and moisturized.
We're going to talk about that. Oh, I got one other thing. I'll go get it after we get started.
Okay.
Hey, guys, it's Friday.
Good morning, chicken. Wake up.
Don't worry about what them people at your job got you down. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Hey, it's Friday. I'm going to step away real quick, Janet. I'll be right back after these messages. No, I'm just kidding. Hold the fort down. I'll be right back. I got to grab something.
Okay. So while he's gone, what y'all want to talk about? Okay, what y'all got planned for the weekend, Chick and Rashad? What y'all doing? You know, I never know what's going on in my life. I just work. You know, I just work. And run behind my dog, or should I say he runs behind me? Thank you for that. I like to know that the quality is good. The video and the audio is good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you, partner in life. I don't want to say crime because we don't commit any crimes over here.
No, we don't. I am a rule follower.
Ain't no crime going on over here.
Good morning. Okay. My brother is on. Troy, listen. We want you to come on because
for sure.
We want you to talk about your male initiative, male initiative.
Manhood initiative.
Your manhood initiative. I would love
you spill my coffee,
on and talk about that. I mean, if you want to come on like today,
he is a boss, man. He controls his own schedule, right? I mean, come on. Make it happen, man. He is the boss man up in them areas up there. Where in Michigan, right?
Michigan City.
Yeah.
He said, absolutely. Right now, absolutely. Wait till we get a couple of more people in here.
We got to get him while he's on vacation. He got the time.
Oh.
So reach out to him after this show, babe.
Okay. So Rashad, what kind of event are you working? I used to love doing events. I used to love it. So while you're on vacation, are you doing a home vacation or are you traveling? So my brother is the type of guy that will travel and nobody knows. He might be in your neighborhood and you'll never know that he's there.
The silent traveler. And then he'll say, well, I was there and suddenly I go, what? You go, what? The silent traveler.
I was talking to my stepmom one day and I knew that he had been to Louisiana because he and I had spoken. He was in Louisiana, but she tells me, I'm talking to her and I'm like, yeah, Troy said he was down there, blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, let me tell you, he was here. He just left and he was supposed to leave on X day, But she found out that he was still there days later. But it was like nobody was supposed to know that. And she,
So hey,
my mother gets close.
you can't feel bad then, Jen. He does it to his own mama. So you can't even feel bad, you know.
Right.
You can't even feel bad about that one.
You have a couple of arrangements, chick, to make, yes. And yeah, you better listen. You better find that passport because you're going to Punta Cana in 2 weeks. I thought you were going like next week for some reason. Yeah, don't say wow, Troy. You know, she called you out.
Without hesitation, right?
Without hesitation. She says, Janet,
let me tell you.
Let me tell you. So,
that lady can cook though, boy. Let me tell you.
Oh yes, she can.
Ooh, boy, I'm getting hungry. I'm already hungry now. I'm really hungry.
Yes, she can. Oh, so you're doing a back to school and health fair in the community. Well, that's good. That's good.
That's awesome.
That's wonderful. Okay, September 7th. I think my sister is coming to visit me during that time that you're going to be on vacay. So that's one.
And can't be mad at Chick and her family. They get their vacays in, man.
Yeah, they get together. They do.
They do it as a family unit. I love to see that. We were in the store one of the few times that Janet accompanies me on my shopping trip, one of my shopping trips, and there was this beautiful couple there and the little daughter. Nothing like seeing, the Black family, doing positive.
Oh, yeah.
Chick and her family, Rhonda and her family, they get together and they make it happen. They have a good time together, which is always good. What are we talking about this morning?
Well, the first thing that I think we should probably kind of like hit on is, well, I don't know if you want to get that heavy. You give me something that's not so heavy this early.
What's heavy?
Well, I guess I'm talking about, we hear a lot of people talk about how Cash App and PayPal stole their money.
Let's do that. Let's do that because you hear how I shut that down, but let's talk about that for a second.
And while we're talking about that, Chick, tell me, how do you accept your payments? Do you what do you use?
Payment processor.
Your payment processor. I use Cash App. Sam and I, we use Cash App all the time. We buy our Bitcoin, with Cash App when we're sending it to our
some of our investment accounts or whatever.
Accounts. And in addition to, we also use it to pass money like back and forth, to whoever, right? We use it professionally and we use it personally is what I'm saying.
Right.
And so sometimes when some of my clients, I always send an invoice to my clients, but sometimes they don't want, for whatever reasons, they don't want to use PayPal. I use PayPal and Cash App primarily. They don't want to use PayPal. And so they'll just be like, can I Cash App you? Yes, of course. But I still send the invoice for my record keeping. And so when I'm asking them, well, what's the problem that you have with PayPal or Cash App, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't really like PayPal that much, but okay.
They stole my money, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I have never had a problem with either one of these. I've never had a problem with Square either. Good morning, Pat. And I just wanted to let y'all know, it's like, it just didn't sit right with me, right? So, of course, me, I'll go and I'll research something in a minute. And I just, went to the company that owns Cash App to find out, what their net worth was, right? Cash App's net worth is $73.5 billion. That's their valuation. So a company that size, right, doesn't need to steal your money. And then even with PayPal, I don't know what the deal is with, people that are using PayPal, but their valuation is $107.78 billion valuation. So these companies are solid companies. I think that what I do notice is that with a lot of other things, most of the time, it's user error. If you're not cognizant of what you're doing on these particular, whether you're online with PayPal or Square, or whether you're using the Cash app, you really have to be cognizant of the information that you're putting in. It's just like when you're sending an email. Like if you send in emails and you sent it to me and Sam, or whoever, and you type in the S, people's names will automatically populate. So you have to be cognizant that you're clicking whatever that email is, that you're sending it to Sam, that you're actually sending it to Sam. Okay.
That's a great example.
Mm-hmm. So you use Square, and my clients pay the invoice directly online. Yep. For clients as well from time to time. And you've been in business for a while. Have you had any issues with your clients, paying through those particular venues?
You know how I feel about it, Janet. And you hear me on the phone with potential clients and clients. I'm at the point where I just call them out. For me, because I'm dealing with this every day, it seems like it's the scammer's mentality. And what do I mean by that? Right? You get this link saying, "Hey, you give me $50, and I'm going to turn it to $500 in 2 days." And because people want the quick money and all that kind of stuff, they click on the link. Guys, that's the red flag right there, right?
Yeah.
And there's other ways they get you, but it's so clear if you take just half a second and look at it and ask yourself some one or two common sense questions, you'll avoid that. And by the way, I'm glad, I like it when you talk numbers, by the way, Janet. I'm glad you mentioned that valuation. And these companies, by the time, let me be honest, let me be just right in the face. By the time we got onto the mobile payment, the mobile transferring of monies bandwagon, guys, these companies are already $1 billion company. So I say to people, and Janet hear me, and she'd be like, "Well, maybe you can say it a different way." No, I'm not saying it a different way anymore. Why would a $1 billion company, and I'm gonna use a big number for us. Why would a $1 billion company want to steal your $10,000? If you look at how that business is, right? How they make their money, guys, trust me, it's a cash cow. And if you've been on either side of that, whether you're a small business owner or you're paying a small business owner, you can't ignore the fees. So what's the average, Janet? 2.9% plus 30%.
I mean, you're going to pay a fee anyway.
Millions of transactions per day. They do not
Listen,
need to steal our little funky 5,000, 10,000, whatever, people saying
if
they're
you're
stealing.
paying attention to
Come
when
on.
you go shop or when you go to a restaurant, all of those fees, okay, and this has been going on for a few years, the fees are being transferred to the consumers. That's been going on for a few years. If y'all ever pay attention, it was in the news and everything. Those companies, especially those smaller restaurant type deals, those fees are being whatever. If you're paying, and if you ever notice this, if you're at the gas station will have maybe two prices on unleaded or whatever gas that you're getting. And if you notice, it's a cash a particular amount for cash payment, and it's another amount for a credit card payment. And what that means is whatever those fees are, they're transferring that fee, if you're paying by card, to you, the consumer. I want to give a shout out to Donna Coleman. Good morning, Donna. She says that she is going to be in North Carolina tomorrow and is leaving on Wednesday. And I think that we had a plan to go and to get together and see her. Yeah.
And break some bread, man.
Yes.
Of talking about people I would love to have come on. I'm not sure what his schedule is like, because ever since I've known this guy, he's been busy. Dr. Carlton Calhoun. That'll be interesting, because that brother is sharp, man. He can drop some golden nuggets up in here for you guys.
That would be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, wouldn't it though? you know, and he's a mathematician by should I say mathematician by trade or mathematician? So it'll be an intelligent conversation. We'll have fun with it as well. So I'm gonna reach out to you, Carlton, man, see what your schedule looks like. Get you in here. We got to meet up with Donna for sure because she reached out to us to let us know she was coming through. What's it, 30 minutes away from us?
Right. So Rashad uses, you know, this is what I'll say. He uses PayPal, Cash App. He uses all of the things, right? When it comes to Venmo, the only thing that I would say about Venmo is that if you're using Venmo, everybody can see what your transaction is. So remember when we were traveling a whole lot more before we had to come here, and we were in Austin, Texas. We were in Austin, and when we were in
San
the
Antonio,
upper Mississippi with Natalie. And people use Venmo, but you can see all of that. Whoever is sending Venmo, you don't even have to be friends with them. You can see those. You can see that community of people. So just make sure that if you have a problem with that, put your account settings to private so that your information won't pop up.
Renell uses Venmo a lot. I think Ray has Venmo as well. But we made them get Cash App. So
right. So Pat has a question.
Hold on a second. I want to Rhonda. I thanks for posting that, Rhonda, because Janet sees it, right? And the amount of transaction I'm doing on a daily basis with Cash App, because there's a process for one of my accounts that I set clients up with it's easy for them to use Cash App. So never had an issue. And we were trying to figure out yesterday how long we've had Cash App. And you said 2015, something like that.
Well, it was way before we came here. So it's been about 6 years, I want to say.
Okay. So thanks for that. So Pat's question.
Pat's question is about using PayPal or perhaps Square for regular business that she's doing. If a client decides to use do you note it on those invoices that is paid by another source? Absolutely. That's what I do for PayPal. I just go in, I'll send the invoice, and I'll keep a copy for my particular records. And if they've paid any other way besides PayPal, I will note that the invoice is paid through another source so that it clears out my my invoice. My invoice is on PayPal.
I just realized something. For your business, you're invoice heavy. I don't have to do any invoices.
No, I sent, because when it comes to products, I will send the invoice to the consumer, as I'll print it out, right? It's part of my package. When they order something, I print the invoice, and once the order is fulfilled and I'm packing it, I will pack that invoice in with the order for them, for their benefit.
Just two different ways of payment flow. Payment processing flow goes for two different businesses. The funny thing is, you get to access my money, but I don't get to access yours. But that's, hey, I don't get my marketing. I don't get paid for marketing. I don't get paid for the sales I make for Style with Taste.
You get paid in other ways. Don't even try to play me.
Speaking of which, let me get my mic out of the way. This is a Style with. I think all this week I've been wearing Style with Taste T-shirts. This is my trading logo she did for me. I've been wearing your designs all week. Can I get some marketing dollars for promoting your business?
All I know is that you get free merch. You get all the merch. You have more Style with Taste stuff than I do. Look, this ain't Style with Taste.
I don't know what to tell you.
This is not Style with Taste.
I don't know what to tell you.
Style with Taste is right there, but I'm not wearing it. And, but Style with Taste is right here.
All I'm going to say is it's good to have the hookup.
This is why I say that, Rashad, to your point, this is why I say most of the time is user error. These companies were proven, long before we started using them, right? Because most of us don't even have small businesses. They were utilized long before that. Okay. And so for some of us who have 10 cent, to say that these companies are stealing our money or whatever, that's really not accurate.
We just
And
need to stop it because it's okay. So from what I do is if I were to sum up what I do is I'm trying to help people make their money grow. There's a whole bunch of stuff we use to do that, right?
mm-hmm.
So when I encounter someone with that mentality, it's a barrier, right? It's preventing them from accessing something that they say they want to access and something that they probably need, right? So that's where I see that the disconnect is right there. And then that person would kind of settle back into that whole mindset of, I'm just going to put everything in my bank account. And you can see, with this year alone, what that has done as far as that money not growing for them. So it becomes a mental barrier that they can't seem to get over. All these institutions now are, against them or trying to steal their money, when in actuality, the biggest institution that's stealing your money is a traditional bank. But that's a whole
Right.
nother.
That's a whole nother conversation. And if you think about it, even churches are posting, they have a hashtag, a cash app. They have a cash app for you to because they do a lot of live streaming these days, and because of COVID, they had the house of the Lord had to shut down, but the bills don't shut down. So they needed to be able to reach their people. In addition to, they needed the gifting of the support of the ministry. So, I would just say, yeah, stop. Stop and check your user error radar, okay?
Want to move on?
That takes us to what, babe?
No, I was going to say, I'm sure this is going to keep coming up throughout the show today. So,
yeah, we're here for it. In that same lens, right? When it comes to, we're so used to doing things just one way, just one way. There are several ways to get to, the desired end, okay, the desired result. So even when it comes to your life insurance or your health insurance, right? Sam talks a lot about, the insurances that people have grown accustomed to, like your Blue Cross Blue Shield. I mean, they have simply taken over the insurance market, the health insurance market, because it's like if you don't have Blue Cross Blue Shield, you feel like you don't have nothing. But and then most of us have complained. I know working for a pharmaceutical company, I feel like my insurance, I had good insurance. We had our insurance through Aetna. But as the years progressed, right, what I found was that I was spending more money out of pocket for deductibles than the insurance company was spending taking care of the insurance need.
And keep in mind, when you had that healthcare plan with that company, that was pre-Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare.
Right.
And it was considered good plans then. It's totally different now, even with a good job, a good plan at your company.
Yeah, because I found that at that time, the better insurance plans were with, pharmaceutical companies, the medical industries, stuff like that. But like I said, as years progressed, we see that insurance is, with your regular insurance companies, you're paying, these super high deductibles before the insurance company actually pays anything towards your plan, right? And oftentimes when I talk to people, oftentimes I'm like, why is your deductible, so high? By the time you finish paying for that deductible, you've really paid your insurance, and the insurance company hasn't paid anything. So when Sam started doing, health insurance, right, and coming up with solutions, right, for people to like get their own health insurance, because remember, as long as you're getting anything that you get through the company, you really don't own it. So therefore, if you notice, when you leave the company that you work for, you can't take any of that stuff with you, right? Even your health insurance plan, what do? They give you a thing called Cobra, which costs like 3 times more than what your health plan through the job was. They'll offer you Cobra. Even when it comes to like your 401k, if you leave your job, your 401k doesn't automatically go with you. It stays with the company. You have to do some things, okay? So anyway, Sam comes up with he starts doing these giving people.
I partnered with some good solutions for that situation.
Thank you.
Uh,
Take
with
over.
some good company, and I don't market it now, guys. That was, I think it was in one of Janet. I think it was, remind me if I'm telling the truth or not, but I think it was in one of, we sit, Janet and I, actually every morning, but we do a quarterly business review of each other's businesses. And I told her, it's been over a year now. No, it's been a couple of years. I said, I'm just not going to market healthcare anymore. We keep up with numbers in our business, and I was seeing the trend here. Like, okay, this is a solution, but if I got to talk to you 10 times, for you to get this solution, I had to make a business decision on that. We still offer it, but I just don't market it. On average, I was having to have 6 to 8 meetings with people about this plan. Guys, the plan is much, much easier, efficient, and it does what a healthcare plan should do, way more than a major medical plan. Here was the 2 kickers that people couldn't get wrapped around their head, and I attribute this to the just good old excellent marketing from the major healthcare companies. They cannot understand that why this plan does not have a deductible. Guys, by the way, a healthcare plan should not have a deductible. Deductibles in place, like Janet mentioned earlier, so you can pay most, if not all, of the bill before the healthcare company kicks in. And they couldn't understand also why our solution did not have a copay. Again, those things are not inherent with a properly structured healthcare plan. I tell people, if you think it's crazy, do a little bit of research on what your Congress people in Congress have. It's very similar. And if you want to go a little bit further back in history and look at the history of healthcare, I know no one's going to look that up, but I did because I'm in this business. The history of healthcare started out with this model. It was the first model, legitimized model of a healthcare plan, and then major medical came along. Remember, this is a very capitalistic country we live in, and, to provide healthcare, but it was actually for those companies to make millions and millions of dollars. I just had to get away from that because it was taking up too much of my time, and then those people were not getting the plan anyway, right? Right. I can definitely help you with some good dental. I'm not sure who that was.
That was Pat.
Okay.
Somebody is asking if
yes,
Cash App is owned by Square.
Yes, it is.
Is it? Because it's Block owns. Does Block own Square?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to be sound like I'm selling.
Yeah, we don't want to do dive deep into that. Y'all can reach out to Sam.
Yeah.
For further things. But in saying all of that, right? When he does do plans for you as an individual, and the thing with the healthcare is that what Sam noticed was that a lot of small businesses did not have any healthcare plans for major medical. They didn't have either enough employees or it was too expensive, and so he created these basically these boutique options for small businesses. Here's the deal, and for individuals as well. is that when you get the insurance plan or whatever plan you have, whatever it is that you have on a financial basis, it is your job to manage. It's your job to manage your plan. So let me say it like this.
I don't want to stay on this too long, Janet. So
I'm gonna just say it like this, and then I'm gonna be done with it.
all right, okay.
When we went to go with my brother to get him a car, right?
Yeah.
We went with him to get the car.
The weekend car trip.
Yeah. So you have the vehicle now, right? So you have, if anything dealing with the maintenance of your car, don't come to us about the maintenance of your car, okay? You go to the dealership for the maintenance of your vehicle. When it comes to the financing of your car, you don't go to the dealership for the financing of your car. You go to wherever you finance the car at. So, you pick the car up from wherever the dealership is, but you're not paying the note. You pay the note someplace else. And so that's the company that you need to deal with if you have questions or issues about your financing, right? And it's the same thing with these accounts. So Sam, we don't use our technology to its full capacity, right? No. Everybody has a smartphone. The only person that had a flip phone was my mama, and she was in her 70s, but if you can pull up that picture that I showed you about how I organize my apps, and I know people are gonna people always have something to say about my organizational stuff. But it helps me to be more accountable for my own business, right? And for the things that I need to do. And maybe it'll help you too. Do you have it?
I got you. I got you covered.
So this is a screenshot of just my phone, right? But all of those little things.
Who's that guy you all hugged up with on there, man?
It's some chocolate dude. I like chocolate. Dark chocolate is good for the soul. So I make sure that I have my daily dosages at every turn. Yeah. But I have and everybody is not going to be like me, but I have my phone, my screenshot in folders, and I have them labeled. So anything that I need to find quickly, if I need to go to my bank, or even if I need to do like my investments or something like that, I know where that information is. So, I don't have to bother Sam, and I'm not afraid of technology because my phone is a mini computer. So, it's like gone are the days where you can just call up, because you wouldn't call up our other brothers and sisters in business. You wouldn't call them up. You would go and research this information for yourself. And so it's important, right? It's very, very important. And as we move forward into our, into the future, that we learn how to manage, that we become tech savvy with our own phones. Don't just use those phones for playing your games or talking or texting. You know what I'm saying? Use it for what is, you can use it for everything that it's designed for. Figure out a way to, and our phones are password protected. Yes, we're married. Yes, our phones are all of our things are password protected. And yes, we have each other's passwords to everything that we have. Yes.
I think, why are you saying it like that? You speaking to the couples? You emphasize that to the couples?
Uh-huh.
I'm a full disclosure kind of guy, so you never have to worry about that with me. But I want to get back. I think you were hinting around about I fired a client. Yes, I hate to do that. But I have to, because I can't ignore certain things that some of us do to each other, especially some of us do to our fellow small business owners. If I'm setting up, 9 times out of 10, a client of mine is going to have multiple uh, uh, different levels of my services, right? Because I was trained as a full service advisor. So it's up to you. If this is where you're putting your money at, whether it's an investment account, your medical plan, your dental plan, whatever. You need to know the company. All of these companies now have it so that you can go on and create a client portal, because everything's digital. And like Janet had everything organized, you can have all of that on your cell phone, right? You can have all of it on your cell phone. When you don't know that, then you don't fit. Typically, you're not going to fit my ideal client, because here's what happens. And this happened yesterday, and the person apologized, but the damage was done. For us, and I'm speaking for us in the financial services world and the investing world, we get labeled like this, that we're so quick. People are so quick to say, oh, you're trying to scam me. Now, keep in mind, the way all of my services are set up, I never, ever need to keep your banking information. My process, none of that's kept on our computers. And as a matter of fact, most of the partners I partner with for these companies, they don't even keep that stuff now, right? But they're so quick to say, oh, you're trying to scam me. And then the person, I just said a couple of things, right? And you remember, these are your accounts. Can I help you down the road? Absolutely. But you should be the primary person that is at least know where you're putting your money. This person, for some reason, forgotten everything. Accused me of putting them in 2 or 3 life insurance policies, which I never do. That's very rare that I do that. And when I do that, we're doing some type of estate planning, right? So I think you were hinting around on that. Guys, if you, regardless of who it is, who's your advisor, whatever, any advisor, ultimately it's up to you. Have a general knowledge of where, at least where the stuff is at, and how to access that company. That's easy to do these days.
Right.
It's very easy to do.
And if you can't remember your passwords, listen, lock your phones, create a situation to where you will be able to pull that information up, have it in different places, but speaking of multiple insurance policies, we were just informed, if you have an agent, make sure that they review your information, because you just had a situation where somebody told you about this elderly lady who had sold her like several daggone policies.
It was the same agent. The client thought she was just renewing her policy, which I don't know why an agent would sell a renewable term policy to a senior citizen, but he was actually going in and selling her these small policies every year. So in disguise of a policy review, and she had, I forgot, ended up with 10 or 12 policies.
Now, my question is, who was the beneficiary of all these little policies?
That's a good question. That I did not. Yeah. I was not told that information.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I see where you're going with that.
So, the news is all a buzz. I agree with you, Rashad. Let's not, obviously we're Android users, right? I have an Asus laptop which I love. It's a gaming laptop, and I really love it. But my phone, I've always been an Android. I was a iPhone user very, very briefly. But I'm an Android.
You admit to that now.
I had but it was so brief.
The other week we were talking to some people, and you did not ever having an iPhone. Maybe you were just joking around.
Listen, because I can't stand it. It was a horrible experience.
You were loving it when you had it.
No, I hurried up and got rid of it. That's why I said briefly. But I've been an Android user, and specifically a Samsung user for years and years and years. So I love Samsung.
You ready for product review?
Yes.
Or were you going to say something else?
No, let's do a product review.
You're on fire today. Okay, let's do a product review. You do not have the product there because of how it got packaged. But the product, guys, I put our personal skincare. Is that, am I saying that right? Skincare person, skincare provider.
Well, she's your personal skincare provider
Oh,
because because
okay.
I use different
Oh, that's right.
products.
True. Okay.
Right.
All right. But you use my
But there's that one product that she has that I absolutely,
so you
yes, I
use.
do.
So guys, it's Scrubs by Lise, our product spotlight today. And her info is actually in the comment. They already dropped her website and her Facebook page. I was on her Facebook page, Janet. I'm going to show you something kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave that up. Let me bring it over real quick. And we just got a small order. We got a funny story about this because we turned on family members to her, and it's like they won't order from her. I got to order this stuff and then send it to them. What Janet sends it
Mm-hmm.
to.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Here is her website. Let me get this out of the way. And the link is in the comment section, guys. This is, I mean, it works for me. I'm sure Janet's going to tell you, um, why and what happened, what I needed. But I can't, I mean, I hope she never stops making it because I'll have to find another solution. But the oatmeal soap is what is perfect for my skin. She also creates what I call a manly body butter
Yeah.
that works for me as well. And on here, if you go to her, I was on the page 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we go here. There we go. So actually, that looks like a picture of the oatmeal
Mm-hmm.
soap right there. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the one we get, and we buy in quantity here because mainly because the family is now coming over to visit, but taking a couple of bars of soaps when they leave. They think I don't know. They think I wasn't hip to it. And
Jan,
then
where that soap at?
what that soap? That soap that Sam be using. And then I got the guys hooked on the Manly Body Butter. It's really good stuff, man. It really is. Then on her Facebook page, Janet, we were trying to figure out. Oops, I don't like to pull up Facebook over here. Figure out. You made it was 2014
Okay.
because you did a review. You did the first review as a mention rather here on in 2014. So we've been clients for a long time. Where's your review here at? It's on here somewhere. And then I did an actual review. There you
Mm-hmm.
go. There you go, right there. November 25th, 2014. That sounds about right.
Yeah. So we've been using her soap since that time. Now she's a school teacher. And I wish that, because she's a school teacher, it's kind of difficult to have her on, but she has eczema or something like that. And so she tried a lot of different products. They simply weren't working for her. And so she decided to try to make her own thing. And it, not only did it clear up her skin,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a lot of things, it just took off and everybody wanted her to make them some soap. We started using it. Well, we had developed a relationship with her and her then husband. And then we started, just kind of using the soaps because, the soaps that we were using, both of us have pretty sensitive skin. And so I can't use a lot of perfumey stuff. And obviously Sam is not going to do that. Right. So we started using her products. He really, really loved them. And then, I told y'all when Sam had gotten sick, a lot of you already know that when Sam got sick, his skin changed again. It was like,
I think it's because of all the medication they pumped in me.
I think so too, but it was so like dry and kind of scaly. And so it just wasn't, Sam is very, very smooth skin, right? So, we started this soap really helped him a lot. And I don't get any it moisturizes me well. I love her soaps. So we've been using them all this time. But when school is out, that girl is ghost.
You're gonna take her vacation. That's why I need to stock up. So I got a standing order of, I think, 20 bars of soap and maybe 5 or 6 of the manly body butters. And I see you, Chicka Wicca. Let me tell you something, Chicka Wicca. I'm gonna send one of these to Ezel.
Oh, because listen,
one of these to Ezel, and you ain't gonna be able to keep your hands off of them.
Listen, my brothers and my son, they are like, even my sister, when they come, or they'll sit up there, where's that where's Samuel get that? That's my son. Where's Samuel get that body butter? I mean, he uses it on himself. He uses it on my grandkids. You know, it's clean. Listen, it's clean. And so and it doesn't have a scent. It's oatmeal. So whatever lotions and stuff I'm using is not an overabundance of smells. And it's really, really good. You know, it's really good.
So we got a small order in, and I want to just show you. I want to show the products. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this glare here, Janet.
I can see it.
I like the fact that she takes the care to wrap it in this little bubble wrap. You're really big on bubble wrap as well.
Mm-hmm.
Comes in its own separate box instead of just throwing this stuff in a box, right? And that's the thing about small business, Black small business owners. When you're going that extra mile, you know, you're not shortchanging on the customer service. You're going to get repeat business from people like us, right? So here's a bar of the oatmeal soap. There we go. Right? And like I said, we normally keep a huge stash of this, but family comes over and just sneak in there and get it. And here we go. Here's a bar of the oatmeal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. This is the magic oatmeal soap here that I can't live without.
And let me tell you,
feels good.
We have tried other things, but you know, this is by far the best thing that we've tried. And if she ever stops, you know, we don't have another source.
There's another source, but honestly, it's good.
Not, yeah,
but it's not.
But it's not that. It's not. And that's what we like. So, you know, yeah. Has cowhide.
Oh my God! he needs a case of these. Then he needs the soap and the manly body butter. She used to send him a whole bucket.
We try, Rashad. We try to ensure positive, you know, and honest information about services and products that really are beneficial to all of us. You know, we're just giving out, you know, information that try to edify, you know, our community.
And it's easy for us to talk about these businesses and products and services and everything because we use it. Everything we're talking about, we do here. And that's actually how CoffeeChat started, right? We want to share the things that we're doing with everyone. Cowhide skin. The girl is off the chain, I tell you.
Off the chain. Don't be talking about my high yellow other brother like that.
What else we got on tap today? Maybe we let's see here.
You got something?
No, I know you're the keeper of the list, Miss Organization.
So, you know, it's all over the news. Joe Biden is all over the news.
Here we go.
The first thing is, you know, the student loan forgiveness. Now, well, before I go to Joe Biden, let me see what Pat is saying. She has a girlfriend that makes oatmeal soaps, and it's one of her best sellers. You know, she purchases artesian type soaps rather than the ones in the store. Yeah, we don't buy soaps in the store anymore. We haven't for a long time. You know, just don't. Yeah. But Joe Biden, our president, has come up with the policy of student loan forgiveness. So, you know, I don't know if y'all have student loan debt, or if, you know, possibly your children have student loan debt. But what it is that mainly for those people who had Pell Grants, you had to make under $125,000 as a single person and 200 something as a couple.
250
250 as a couple. the Pell Grant, he would forgive $20,000 of your Pell Grant student loan. And then if you had other loan that wasn't a Pell Grant, it's $10,000. So what we need to keep in mind is that, you know, that's a huge help to a lot of people, but it's not going to eliminate your total student loan. Keep that in mind. The government and that student loan, that debt has to go somewhere. So, you know, it's just like, for me, my question is this: when COVID happened and we were getting those stimulus checks, right? All the people were getting the stimulus money and all of this kind of stuff. You know, once they declared that COVID was over, then you had higher interest rates, right?
Inflation kicked in.
So the government, I mean, it's good for the consumers right now, but just keep in mind that the government is going to get that money back.
It's going to be recaptured. It's going to be recaptured. And someone will go, well, how does that work? Right? You're talking about inflation, because, you know, Janet, a lot of people don't know how the connection is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if prices, or if we're paying more for stuff, let's keep it simple. We're paying more for stuff, right? What is the one thing we pay on everything, which is taxes?
Taxes.
What is the U.S. government's main source of income? Taxes.
Taxes.
There you go. Higher cost of goods, higher taxes coming through the system, more income for the government. So that's how they can recapture things like that, right? They pretty much recaptured most of the money, if not all the money already, that was given out through the pandemic. And those fake PPP loans, they're actually going out to those people now even more so, which is interesting, because they did in the beginning after the pandemic, and now this for some reason they sparked interest back up in that, trying to recapture some of those dollars, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys benefited from those PPP loans, you know, just as long as you did things the right way, you know, obviously you're fine.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing that President Biden is doing, and, you know, let's hear your comments on this when it comes to the credit bureaus, right? You got your Equifax, you got your TransUnion, and you got your Experian. So according to Biden, and what we as consumers already know, is that, you know, there's a lot of entities that are disproportionate as far as people of color are concerned, right? There is historic how, you know, the way that they'll manipulate some things to stop our particular buying power. Yep. And what they've noticed is that, you know, when it comes to the credit bureaus and us, that it's not a fair representation of our credit. So what Joe Biden is doing is
was your train of thought?
I did.
About trying to eliminate or change how the credit bureaus are processing the information.
He's taking it from what I understand, he's taking it from the credit bureaus. Okay. So, and putting it to another particular entity that's supposed to be a lot fairer. And I'm trying to find the acronym for it right now. It's like I kind of lost it in all the shuffles.
You're shuffling and jiving over there?
I'm shucking and jiving over here, man.
Okay, let me see here if I can help you out.
According to Forbes magazine, credit scoring systems are rifled with racial biases. And the BIPOC community, whatever that means, is disproportionately represented in the credit invisible and poor credit categories. Instead of rectifying this, the Trump administration attempted to introduce credit scoring as an additional requirement on immigrant permanent residency applications. The Biden's proposal seems to be on the right track for leveling the economic playing field and standardizing credit score calculations. Okay, so Biden is to replace the credit bureaus with the Public Credit Reporting Agency. So thank you, Chick, with the credit reporting, with a public credit reporting agency. Now, as I was doing a little bit more research, and of course I will have to do more of a deep dive, what they're basically saying is that they are transferring the information from the three agencies, the credit bureau agencies, to this other platform. But if they're doing that, then whatever your credit score is over there, your credit score, all that information is being transferred. So for those of us who have things on you need to review your credit reports, your 3 credit reports, and you need to dispute anything that's disputable before that transfer to get your, so that you'll have a higher credit rating before they do that transfer. So tell me, what do y'all think about that? Do y'all think that that's I guess, what's your opinions? Because we really don't know, how this is really going to turn out until it actually starts happening. But what are your thoughts on that? Or have you any at all? Did you even know anything about this?
Is this something that's a done deal? This is going to happen, or is it political talk?
Well, from what I understand, it's something that is happening.
Okay.
Following a proposal from the Democrats, a think and do tank searching for solutions to economic inequality. And I'm getting this information from Fortunately. The Biden administration has been planning on shutting down the 3 major credit bureaus, and in its place, the Public Credit Reporting Agency, the CRA, will be in charge of credit reporting and scoring. The biggest reason is because, and did y'all know that the main 3 credit bureaus are for-profit organizations?
Absolutely. People probably don't know that, but yeah. But so it sounds like it's not something that's a done deal. Keep in mind, we're going into political re-election. Is it midterm elections coming up?
Well, this was dated, the article that I'm reading was dated February 2022.
I hear you, but it's not saying that it's a done deal yet. That was my question.
Not in February of 2022.
Okay. We'll do some more research on it.
Yeah, we'll do some more research.
And that's the great question right there, right? Because like in the real estate arena, they knew about redlining, right? But that ain't changed nothing. The most recent thing I was reading in real estate that's negative is that if Janet and I owned a home and we get an appraisal, right, we get a lower appraisal if the same, these people will switch with some white people they knew and then got another appraiser with the same company, I believe, to keep it legit. And it was a much higher appraisal. Yeah. So it's this kind of thing when you're talking about how it's not beneficial for us Black folk, right? It's across, it's these systems, man, that were designed this way. Just yet another system.
I think that all things depend.
I don't think redlining really went away.
Yeah, I agree with you, but Rhonda said what she said, but then Donna came back. Well, she refinanced her home years ago and received an unfair interest rate because she was Black. I think that when I got my home, I had a really good rate. So I guess, and I think that when I was talking to Rob, when they bought their home, this is the second one that but then they're military as well. So I don't really know like how that worked out, but he got a good rate. it's interesting. It is something that's really, really interesting and worth paying very, very close attention to. Now that we know about the whole, we're aware of redlining and we're aware of all of these tactics, and even to the point where, you see a lot of videos on how people of color, these people want to sell their houses, but they don't want to sell it to you because you're a person of color, which is completely ridiculous to me. You want to get rid of the house. Why do you care?
Right. So
why do you care?
Technically, we're currently, beginning stages of looking of being into the market to buy a home. And my solution for kind of around all of that is I'm only dealing with people that look like me. You can think about it. In the real estate industry now, of course, you got the black real estate agents. You got black mortgage companies. Now, you can, when you get to sign the docs, it could be, a black law firm, a black title company. We're all up in that industry. Why would I take the risk of not getting, equal service by dealing with someone that I don't know if they're going to have my best interests, in mind? Why take that risk? That's just me.
I mean, that's real. And then it also depends on your location, where you are. I think that there are a few factors. I just remember that time that I bought my car. I've never had anything like that happen to me before, right? I went and I picked out the car, we picked out the car, and I hate dealerships because they take forever. It don't make sense to me. But I was noticing that, it's like you can feel people watching you. And I was noticing that, they was just watching me. I looked up and I actually saw these guys in the office, and they were like peering out the window of the office, in the inside. And I'm just like, what are they doing? They kept looking, right? And so when the salesman came up to me, and he was like, he kind of said, they were watching you. They couldn't believe that you had this type of credit score. And I'm looking at him like, why wouldn't you believe that? It's my credit score. Why wouldn't you believe? It didn't dawn on me at the time because I simply don't think like that. When I'm shopping, I'm just shopping. I'm not shopping because I'm black. I'm just shopping because I want to shop. So I wasn't thinking about what he was really saying until he kind of pointed it out to me. And I'm like, okay, but based on my credit score, during that time, we were able to get my car at 0% interest rate. And they were having a hard time believing that. So, that was the first time that anything like that had ever happened to me. So, I get it. There's also redlining by changing, border zip codes. Yes, I believe that. Laws concerning property value. It happened in the 60s. And this is where, this is why history is so important. For you to know what the history was and, being able to have access to what was really going on, in your community, which is why Sam and I love documentaries so much, because if, I wasn't, a lot of things happen in California, a lot of things happen all around the world, right? So it's good if you don't have that person that can give you that knowledge base, like your grandmother, your parents, that kind of stuff, then it's good to be able to review those documentaries.
Let's take a quick break, Jan.
Okay.
All right. Okay, let's move on to something a little bit more fun. It's Friday. I feel like I'm working. Feel like I'm over here working hard for the money.
I think
Anything, guys? What's on you guys' mind? No one really gave us any. What's going on in y'all's world? We're having our virtual happy hour. If you want to invite to that, because it really is by invite, let me know. We don't want to exclude anyone that want to participate, but that is technically offline. That is not something we do live, and it's grown folks conversation, and it's a bit of everything. We've been supportive a couple of times. We've celebrated a birthday, or what has it been, 2 birthdays?
yeah.
Yeah, we have celebrated a birthday. We're going to be doing that every other Friday going forward. Um,
Every other Friday.
every other Friday. We got anything else on our list?
The only other thing that's on our list is, us talking about generational wealth and how some parents, are creating small businesses, LLCs for their children right now, for
So
their minor
you're just going
children.
to keep making me work, huh?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Okay. You are the boss
So,
lady.
I know that, a lot of us are, our children are adults, but what do you think about that? What do y'all think about that? Being able to start your kid an LLC as a minor, giving them a head start. What do you think about that?
Now, so you're saying an LLC, the minor owns an LLC?
Right.
Is that, let me see, can you do that?
Well, you would have to, of course, research the state laws
Uh-huh.
for, you know, near you, whatever your state laws are about doing a business for a minor. You would absolutely have to do that. And
So there's nothing that prevents a minor from being a member in an LLC or owning an LLC. And
per state.
per state, because every state has their different rules and
Hmm.
regulations around that. Oh, well, there's nothing stopping minors from owning LLCs in any state.
See, you're creating wealth for your children as how people they'll do the Gerber baby life insurance policy when their kid or their grandkid was
Mhm.
just born. This is a way to create income streams for your children. Then you research your state laws about it for minors, and then you'll choose some generic name that has with a low risk industry. And then, of course, you go to your irs.gov and your DBM and get those numbers. And then you open your kids a business checking account and help them build business credit. So I think that one of the things that I noticed about students that are homeschooled is that they learn more about financial literacy than they do in public schools.
Very true.
And yeah, this is, this
Well,
this right here is
public
financial
schools.
literacy.
Public schools don't really have curriculum, that part of the curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen a couple of school districts mention it, but that's a couple out of thousands of school districts, which is thousands of schools, right? Um, Jan, we're just not, and I'm speaking from my perspective, we're just not on that mindset of thinking like that. Now, these younger generations, they are, which is good to see, right? I don't know if they're executing on it, but they are at least having the conversation, and they're trying to learn about these different strategies, because there's people that not just are talking about generational wealth, they're actually seeking out, well, how do I really do this? I mean, this is great to see a video or see someone talking about it or talk about it in a group or whatever, but how do I really set this stuff up? And that's when you get into the mindset of actually taking action on it and putting some stuff in place. That's just one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just one thing. So you mentioned Bowls Ties, the other
Yeah.
show.
Moe's Bowls.
Bowls,
Yeah.
Bowls Ties. And I'm sure, especially when he connected with, I think it was Dave and John. If he didn't have that in place, I'm sure he did after connecting with Dave and John, as the investor that invested in his business. So you think about that, right? Imagine, well, let's make it personal. Imagine our kids doing that or allowing us to do it, right? How we're setting up. Now you're setting up some generational wealth. Okay.
Yeah.
And at the age the grandkids are now, you got so much time to teach them. They're at the age now, by the time they're 15, 16, they will know more than most adults as
Right.
to how
Exactly.
money works, and where to allocate money and how these different accounts work and all that kind of stuff. Right. So we would break the generational curse of adults in the family becoming adults and afraid to open up an investment account. Right. You would eliminate that. It's not just about creating the wealth side of it, it's the mindset. Okay. It's the mindset shift that needs to happen for true generational wealth to happen. Because you know how I feel about this. People want to talk about generational wealth, but they don't even use the number one way to transfer, which is life insurance.
Right.
Which is
Right.
life insurance, right? The
Right.
younger you are, you should definitely have $1 million life insurance policy. Because
Oh, because it's pennies on the dollar, right,
pennies on
babe?
the dollar, and you get that bad boy for 30 years or longer if you can. Right? And make sure it's a convertible policy, which means you can convert it from a term policy into a whole life policy at any time before that term happens, or you can stagger them. Right? There's different ways you can do it. Let's say you're 30, you get it, then around 40, you get another one. So that 40-year policy is going to take you all the way out to the age of 70, which pretty much, if anything's going to, majorly happen, it's going to happen by then or before then. Right? There's different insurance strategies you can use. So, I kind of dismiss a lot of the talk about generational wealth because what I've found is it's just a waste of time and hot air because the people that are mostly preaching it are not even doing setting up generational wealth. And again, I'll say to you, one of the primary ways to set it up is through the proper utilization of life insurance.
Right.
I'm never going
Right.
to forget with a couple of my mentors in different ways said basically the same thing, and they came to me to have these conversations. Say, and I'm gonna say this, but I know these people didn't mean the way it sounded. So I don't understand, your community, they don't get just basic life insurance, and they'll say something like, they said to me, like, it's basically buying dollars on discount, but we shy away from it. We want to get the $10,000 policy. And then you want to, give the agent hell about that. Talking about you don't want to leave nobody rich, and it's a $10,000 policy.
So, I agree with you, Rhonda. It's a wonderful idea. And a lot of people in our community didn't know anything about this, right? So our parents didn't know, you know, and probably our grandparents, a lot of grandparents didn't know, so they weren't able to pass this knowledge down. But here we are right now, right? And we're having these conversations. So even though, like, the way that I'm thinking is that even though my children, right, are adults, they're having kids. And so if I want to be a contributor to the generational wealth of my own clan, then I would be passing down that wealth through to my grandchildren. My children are already established, right? I'll be adding to those buckets to the grandkids, and thus this is how we kickstart those generational, the concept of generational wealth. That's how we kick that off right now.
And it would help the kids now because now you're establishing another stream of income that they can
Mhm.
use to live their lives right now. And let me tell you something, Ron. I'm glad you posted that because it's not too late. You know,
Right.
when I sat down with Janet, as I always do, and we were looking at the name for my insurance agency or my financial services company, I wanted to include the word solutions. She came up with the Gisyer Benefits, right? I was not going to use our name in it, and I wanted to use solutions because I wanted to be known for providing solutions. So let me drop this on you, Rhonda, and everyone else that's listening. To your point of saying you wish I wish I had known the things that I know now back when my kids were born. And by the way, I want to give you a shout out for your honesty. I don't know you if you realize that it's helping a lot of people, because other people have these questions and these thoughts. Most people just don't say it out loud, right? I certainly would have done a lot of things differently. It's not too late. Let me drop this on you. There's a platform that I've set up that I haven't really activated yet, but it's set up that you can now create an LLC company specifically for investing for your whole family. And it's not limited to families. There's groups that can do this. Everyone in the family becomes a member of the LLC. And quite honestly, if I were you or someone thinking about doing something like this, I would almost force the grown kids to do it. So no, this is non-negotiable. You're getting in here, okay? Because sometimes we as Black folk don't know when something's been done for our benefit. And I'll drop that right there, right? And there's a way you can do this right now, guys. Most of the times in money and investing, it's never too late, right? Your family can set up this strategy where y'all can benefit now, but it's going to create a vehicle for generational wealth for the grandkids, their kids, the kids and kids and so forth. And as you're doing this, you're figuring out what age you're going to bring in the grandkids, start teaching them about money, right? Start teaching them about, and then you get to the point where you show them, hey, this is what the family has going on. So now you've indoctrinated them into that whole process. Their mindset has changed. They're thinking differently from the other kids around them because they're aware of all of this.
Right.
So it's not just talking about generational wealth. It's taking everything you need to do it at any stage in life is there. So that's a viable solution. If you want to talk about that more, I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it and
it's
actually
just
show
like
you the platform.
it's just like how you would be in the kitchen. I was never the kid that was in the kitchen, quite frankly, but if you were in the kitchen, if you had the benefit of having your grandmother, you were in the kitchen with your grandmother while she's baking up all these dishes, and she has passed down all those wonderful recipes, to you, or even your mom, or having those deep dive conversations. You pass all of that information on to your children and then to your children's children. When my father told me, my dad told me, baby girl, if you have an extra, $5,000, you need to put it into a Magellan fund. Now, I was not in a position, right, to ever have that extra $5,000. I was a single parent. But had I had that opportunity, right, then that would have changed the whole trajectory of my financial platform back then. You see what I'm saying? So, it's like he made that statement, okay? But where we're at today, okay, is that we're making statements, but also trying to show you give you the map to get to the place where you really want to get to. Those are the solutions. We're giving you the solutions. And as Pat is saying, mind mapping nuggets. I like that. Mind mapping nuggets, because our community, a lot of times our community doesn't know, or either they don't know, they're not hearing it, or they're hearing it in such technical terms, right? That it doesn't resonate to us. So, one of the things that I absolutely love about Sam is that when he is talking about, business strategies and solutions and stuff like that, he talks about it in such a simplistic way that is so attainable and achievable that we get scared of that because it's too simple. That can't be true. That's too simple because you're not hearing all the technical, even though he might use the proper terminology, he's still breaking it down to where it really resonates, that you can understand and comprehend it. So it's like for us, our generation, we're giving out we're disseminating information and showing you or giving you the links. This is why I cite everything. This is the reason why I cite so much. For you to go and do this, if you're interested in doing it, then you can go ahead and and do it. It's just like, creating these LLCs. A lot of businesses, right? Like, I doubt very seriously if Donald Trump himself has much of anything in his actual name. I think that everything that he owns is owned through the uh, Trump Inc., whatever his business name is. And so if we, our generation, want to get that leg up, and small business owners, we want our houses, we want our cars, put that under your business name.
See, you got me working on a Friday. I don't want to talk about all this, but okay. Uh, and just speaking of the technology earlier, I remembered that I had to transfer some money, or somebody will be looking side-eyed. I just did that. What was that, 2 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
We got to get comfortable with these devices as well, guys. These things, the devices are not out to get us. Okay. Let's look at this. Mindset is absolutely key.
I think that, I read the rest of that, and, my take on it is really this. If we don't monitor our mental health, right?
Govern yourself.
If we don't make a decision for ourselves to be better, to be a better self, right? Because your self-esteem is all about yourself. So you have to make decisions to be better. I'll say that every day that I wake up, I make a decision to be happy. And if I'm being real transparent and real honest, okay, my life has never been easy. It has eventually, we'll get around to telling our own personal life stories, right? And, my story is hard. My life story is hard. It don't look like it, but it's been extremely, extremely difficult my whole life. I had a choice to make. Either I was going to wallow and focus on the bad things that have happened to me, whether they were things of my own doing or things that other people did to me. Either I was going to focus on that and live in that, or I was going to choose to acknowledge those things, but just not live there. Because every time, people get victimized all the time, right? I've been victimized. I've been victimized a lot, but I am not a victim, right? This thing happened to me, but that is not who I am. That is not who I choose to be. And so I think that when our kids, or, the young people come with that, because I remember, you have people that they see the glass as half empty or half full, right? So you have either a pessimistic outlook on things or an optimistic outlook on things. And like when my son would go through, these things where something didn't go his way, and he would kind of spiral down that rabbit hole, right? I would be like, okay, yeah, this happened, but give me, for every 3 things that you just told me, give me 5 things that's positive. You have to have that balance, in your life, because at the end of the day, it is your life. It's not my life. I have my own struggles in my life, right? I have to manage my life. You're going to have to manage your life. And, I also feel like if we're deciding to put things in place, right? If we're deciding to put things in place, there's sometimes our kids, you have to like show them, this is that this is another option. This is an option for you to have, you know, for you to be a better you. And, you know, that's really, you know, I can't say more to it than that. You know, I don't know. What are your thoughts, babe? I don't know.
About the mindset of young people. I think overall they're on a different level than we are. There's always exceptions to the rule, right? I mean, what do you ask me my thought process?
Well, you know, she's saying that more and more their mental state of mind is so fragile. They need to fit in, to be accepted, to have self-worth and self-esteem, right? And so on, and and all of those things. You know, and I had to whenever I hear the term self-esteem, you know, unfortunately, I always think about Cat Williams. When Cat Williams said, you know, it's called self-esteem for a reason, B. But you know, it really is. It's yeah, man. That's a whole other conversation for another day. Because
Yeah.
you know, it's Friday. I don't want to go down that
Yeah,
rabbit.
and the comments, you know, there's things like that you mentioned us talking more about our personal. Well, if we bring that up, it's Friday. But you know, uh, yeah, we'll save that for happy hour. And she had a follow-up comment.
Yeah, I see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, those are really, really hard, hard,
I
hard,
gotta,
hard.
I gotta, I gotta, in love, I gotta say something about this one right here because, and I'm gonna reflect on a little bit. Well, I'm reflecting on in my own personal life. Right, we're always making choices. That's what I wish a lot of people realize. The choice to not make a choice is a choice. So we're constantly making choices. So are those choices always going to be easy? Absolutely not. And I found actually, you know, you don't feel this way when you're going through it, right? The toughest choices have been the ones that I've actually grown from and become a better person. Right. It's all about, okay, so we're always making choices. It's all about how we're dealing with those choices. Right. Sometimes choices are being made for us, but we still got to deal with them. Right. And it falls back to one of my things, Jan. I'm always saying, take massive action. You're going to take action either for something that's going to be positive or negative. It's entirely up to you. Yet again, there's a choice, right? So we're always making choices um, about how we're going to deal with things that happen to us, about how our family. Listen, I'll share something that might not be too depressing. I am 54 years young. Okay. My father passed away before I was born. No, I'm sorry. My father passed away when I was 3 months old. So now you can, by me saying that with you, you can assume that I never got to know my father, right? So that bothered me most of my life, right? It affected me as a young person because then not only was I not able to get to know this man, when I would ask my family, it's like they didn't want to because of the hurt they had and they were holding on to. I never learned anything about him until I was like in my 30s, right? So I'm gonna share something with you guys right here live. So I just shared that with you, and it's a little bit more detailed than that, of course. I'm 54 years old, and I just recently got a picture of my dad that I can say is mine. My aunt, because every time I go home, I ask my family, right? Do anybody have a picture of my dad? Right? She finally found. She's like, got one when he was, I think, like 18 or 19 or something like that. And she sent me this picture of my dad. I just recently got that. How long ago was that, Janet?
Just a couple of months
A
ago.
couple of months ago. I'm 54. Okay. And I just got something of my dad so I can make that connection. And I'm not going to sit there and lie to anyone that did not mess me up a lot in my young childhood. And I know because of that, but I got to a point. I said, I got to make a better choice about this because I kept getting up onto the wall. Okay. I finally figured out that the reason why they're not sharing with me, because for whatever reason they're holding on to the hurt. Because backstory, he got a job building a bridge outside of the little town I grew up in, Hondale. A bridge. Now check this out. The desire to provide for his newborn child, didn't know how to swim. They're laying this concrete and everything to build the bridge. Something happens. All this stuff breaks up and falls. Him and two other people fell into the Deer Creek, the creek that goes by through the town, but Deer Creek. And at that time, it was like a raging river. It wasn't a little creek. And stuff falls on them. The other two guys were able to escape. By the way, they didn't know how to swim either. But he was unfortunate. He didn't make it out, right? So that's how he passed away. So that messed me up, man, in my childhood. And I don't want to share some other things that messed up my childhood. But I all this stuff came to a head. I'm in the Air Force. And I started having what I thought were these dreams, right? But that was those things I had repressed, right? So I got to the point where I said, I'm not going to ask about my dad anymore, right? No one wants to share it with me. No one wants to talk about it, right? And that's how I dealt with it. Well, yeah, that is how I dealt with it, because when I made that decision, I was able to move into positions while I was becoming successful. So that allowed me to see that the choice I was making to hold on to that was holding me back in a lot of areas, right? So that's a real life. I just shared, since Janet said we're gonna start sharing some personal things, that's a real life personal situation there that I had to make choice after choice after choice about. And if I hadn't made the choices, guess what? I probably wouldn't have met Janet. I probably would have met her. She was like, something not right about this guy. Because holding on to those things and those feelings, guys, especially the negative stuff, it comes out, it manifests itself. And knowing the kind of person my wife is right now, she wouldn't have been attracted to me. She would have picked up on it.
Right? Well, if I had held on to the things that have happened to me in my life, right?
I still would have kept acting.
Then I wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have been in a position to receive. And I can say that because of, the thing that I actually learned is that, we all get hurt by different things. And,
it's a part of life.
It really is. And it sucks. Life is difficult. Life is it can be extremely difficult for a lot of people, right? Everybody knows. I mean, I talk about my dad, but my dad didn't raise me. My mom was a single parent, and we were raised in the projects. So I wasn't, like one of the popular kids, right? I happened to be a talented kid and I happened to be a very smart kid, but I wasn't one of the popular kids simply because I was raised on the other side of the tracks. Okay. And I didn't have a lot of the things that other people had. So, I mean, what do you do about that, right? What do you do about that? It is what it is. But, a lot of people may or may not know, because I certainly don't hide it, that I was molested from the time I was 9 years old to the time I was 12 years old. And I wasn't, it wasn't a stranger, right? We didn't my mom didn't allow us to go spend the night at other people's houses because she was afraid that something like this would happen. It happened in our house. And, those things that happened to me as a child, they absolutely, affected me, but statistically, people who are, who have had abuses, those types of abuses in their lives, they either grow up to be abusers, or they continue to be abused, and it's like with one abuse, all other kinds of things, they start coming up, but it's still up under that same umbrella, right, as abuse. And for me, that manifestation of low self-esteem is when you get involved in relationships that really don't, you get involved in relationships that try to that try to continue to snuff out your personality, and those things come out in physical abuse, verbal abuse, and those kinds of things. And I have experienced firsthand, you know, all of those things, and it could have destroyed my entire life, my whole life at a very young age, right? But again, at some point, first of all, I had to reconcile with what happened to me as a child. It
Mm-hmm.
was like I had hidden those facts for that abuse for years, and then it's like you said, when I had my daughter, okay, I had my daughter, and then there was I had a neighbor who was abusing their child that was the same age as my daughter, and she was like maybe 18 months old. And I could hear that physical abuse. I could hear the child crying, and then I would start having these very, very vivid dreams, and I would wake up fighting. And so I had to actually, it took me a long time. I was like, what, 26 when I had Ray? But it still took me a long time to even go to my mother and tell her that this thing had happened, when we were younger. I mean, this man, he threatened to kill my mom, it was a very, very dark and very bad situation, right? But like I said, once I was able to actually talk about it, to share that story, and I did that in church. I was able to share my story, and I was able to talk about it to other young girls that had gone through, that situation, that really started to heal. And let me tell y'all something. I was about 30 when that actually happened. I was, so I had to reconcile, and then I had to, just look at my life, because it was spiraling, and you still don't know it, because I wasn't a drinker. I didn't do all of those normal things, but in the inside, I was just like toe up. I was in a physically abusive relationship, the whole 9 yards. But it's like that Sam said, I had to make a choice and a decision, right? I had to I had to acknowledge the root of whatever my issue was. And then I had to make some choices and some decisions about my life. What was it that I wanted Janet's life to look like? What was it that I need my partner to look like? And it's a lot of real conversations. And if y'all don't think that I ever thought about suicide, that is absolutely false. That's absolutely false. I had a lot of demons, and even till today, I'm almost 60. Sometimes that stuff creeps back up, right?
60.
Sometimes
You told me you were 52.
I know I look it.
What?
I know I look it. But I'm just saying, you have to, nobody said that it was easy, but it's like Sam said, we make decisions every day.
Every day. You
Every
can't get away
single
from it.
day. You really can't get away from it. You really can't get away from it. And so every day I make a decision. I make the decision to be happy every day. Even when stuff, ain't going right, I will allow myself to, go down a hole. No, I won't go down the hole. I will allow myself to go to the edge. And I have, when I'm telling y'all this is the conversation that I have with me. You can go to the edge, but do not go into the abyss. That's what I tell myself. So I know firsthand how that feels. I know what that is, and it's different for everybody. And like I said, when my own son, when he starts spiraling, I have to let him know, listen, you have to counteract the negative things in your life with what's positive, because all of us, we have so many wonderful things going on for us.
Mhm.
Are we struggling over here? Yes, we are struggling. But if you counter that with some of the things that are positive in your life, just speak it. I woke up this morning. I have health. Whatever the positive things are in your life, it kind of counteracts all of the negative stuff. And I've said this, 1,001 times. Go to counseling. I've told this to my own son. You need counseling. He experienced a lot of things, over in when he fought in that war. He was the one who witnessed people on the left side of him and the right side of him getting blown up. He was in a vehicle and the vehicle in front of him blew up, but because they rolled over an IED and that blew up, and some of his brothers in arms, his comrades, he witnessed that. And so, you can't say that people will ever get over things. What I'm saying is that, is that get a professional, talk it out, and make the decision. When you make a decision that you don't want to live there anymore, when you make that decision that you don't want to live there anymore, then you will start taking steps to make a better situation for yourself so that you can move forward and not remain stuck. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. My takeaway from this comment from Rhonda is I had been the unprocessed film sitting in the water, drowning in a dark room, waiting to be developed for many years. That's deep. That's deep right there.
And so I feel like, and I've told you this, you and I have had private conversations, that y'all as a whole, there's a lot of things, when we experience so much trauma in our lives, we have to be able to unpack that. You're thinking that you're okay, right? Because you're still managing your life, but you're carrying on. You know the song Bag Lady by Erykah Badu. It's not her carrying, designer purses. It's all of the baggage of life that we experience. It's all of that baggage of life. And so you have to be able to unpack that, somewhere. A lot of people start journaling, but you have to find a way to release, and like I said, my personal situation was very, very dark, very dark. And things could have ended up, a whole lot worse for me, right? Had I continued going down certain paths, and so, but I made a choice, and, I made a decision, and I tried to focus. I always try to focus my life on that part, even when things aren't going well in my current situation, I'd focus more on, like, one of the things that drive me crazy is that, my husband, right? Instead of putting stuff down the garbage disposal or in the trash, he uses the other side of the sink.
No,
And so it'll get stopped up.
No, I do not.
Yes, you do. I just saw it the other day.
I don't know how you would know what I'm doing with the sinks when you don't even come in the kitchen. Where's my sound effect? Where's my sound effect? Where is my sound effect?
But to that,
hold on. I don't know how you know what's going on in either side of the sink when you don't even come in the kitchen.
It could be it could be one of those triggers that kind of set you off, right? Because we never know what's the trigger is that'll set us off. When I remembered about my own molestation, the trigger was what the neighbor was doing to their kid. It wasn't even something that was going on in my own life. During that time, my life was actually pretty darn grand. But that was a trigger. And so this could be a trigger, right? This, but it's just like he said, on top of that, it's his kitchen. The kitchen is really his. You know,
All I need you to do is organize it.
that's all I do is I'll come in, I'll organize, I work my Janet magic, but I don't do the cooking. Sam does all the cooking, and he relatively cleans the kitchen. I might go back in there and deep clean it, but Sam does all of those things. So, what am I gonna fuss about? What am I gonna
No,
fuss about?
and this is why I believe community is so important. Community is so important as we're coming together. Now, let me give a brief definition: a community of like-minded adults, and we don't. That community doesn't look like this. Someone is being open and honest about something, then someone in the community, tell you, girl, you know what they just said? No, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay.
Right.
Caring, supporting, and talking about issues, personal, non-personal issues. When we come together, there's this strength right there for our community, guys. This community, trust me, right? It's not new. This has been done before. This is when the black family was a solid unit and together. How do you think the civil rights movement, really worked? It's because it was community. Right. So when we come together like this, right, and we talk about these things, that's when we're helping each other from a foundational standpoint, if you will. And that's when change can happen for people. But we need to create these communities where they feel safe. There's no judgmental. I can't share something with Janet, then Janet get on the phone with whoever and say, my husband just told me, blah, blah, um, um, that's why I like what we're doing, and that's what I like about the virtual happy hour. That's what we're having fun in the virtual happy hour too. Now, don't get it twisted.
Right.
But I just know I felt like people needed. We need our immediate group of people need some avenues to just talk about some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would never thought we'd be talking about something this deep, but you already set the stage for that when you said we'll talk about personal stuff. I guess there's no time better than the present, right? But this is what's needed. This too allows the Black community to come together and heal and grow, right? Because you shared with the molestation. You know how often that happens in the Black community, and adults know about it, never say anything about it. And you know how often, just as much, it happens to the little Black boys as well, and adults know about it, don't say anything about it. There was somebody in my childhood church that was doing that to us, touching on us and all that in the dang on church. You're not going to tell me some adult didn't know about that, knowing what I know now, right? We've had this tradition of turning an eye to certain things in the Black community. That's been one of the things that adults have turned an eye against, right? Until we come back together as a unit in different ways, this stuff is going to continue to happen.
And it's because, let me tell you, it was because of what I experienced, right? And so then as a single parent, I used to tell, and I had to work, I used to, how your mama would say, I don't want nobody in my house while I'm not here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously I took that same thing on. And so my kids, they never knew anything about, what I had gone through or anything like that. And so I remember, I came home one day and Rob had his friends over, and I was like, you do not have anybody in this house if I'm not here. Okay, your sister is up in here, and he was like, Ma, ain't nobody thinking about her. Don't nobody want, but that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I always want to be more safe than sorry, and I'm always aware. I'm always aware because of what happened to me. That was one of the lessons, and you could call it being a little paranoid. I really don't care. But I wanted to make sure that my children were safe and that they didn't have to go through what I went through, like right up under my nose, right? So at that point, because he didn't see the big deal. And so that's when I started like sharing, sharing those things. And I like what Pat said, this is the talking circle. And by us sharing some of the things or being able to talk about some of these things in a no judgment,
Mm-hmm.
it might help. A lot of us have gone through some similar challenges, right? And so it's like something that you say might help me to get over that hump of feeling that way. Something that I say might help you. It's in all of the things, right? But if we're not talking about it, okay, if we're not talking about the physical abuse that your husband and wife is doing to you, then you'll never know that there's a solution. You feel, as Pat said, you will feel isolated or like you're the only person that this is happening to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You never know what other people can learn from. Maybe one day I'll share my homeless story. I was homeless for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You never know, right? How what we look at as our tragedy or our hurt can help someone else. And Rhonda pretty much hit that on the head right there with this comment.
Right. You just never know. You never know how your, people have told me a lot of times, you need to write a book. I don't want to write a book. If I feel like it's time to share a story, right, that's going to be, that will help benefit somebody else, it's just like Rashad said, we're very fortunate in that we don't look like what we've been through. So that in itself, right, that in itself is a blessing.
Because
That
guess
those
what?
challenges of life didn't tear you down.
We typically survive those things. If you're still here living and breathing and you can talk about it and discuss it, guess what? You survived it.
You survived it. You don't have to live there no more.
Act like a survivor, move on. I mean, I know it's difficult. We're sharing some things with our individual personal lives, guys. And trust, and I can speak for my wife on this, it was not easy to move on, especially once you come to the realization that something happened to you and now it's full frontal in your face. Now you got to deal with that. You got to move on from that. That's not easy to do. We're not trying to make this sound like, oh, you go through something, then, okay, well, I'm great now. No, it doesn't work that way.
I agree with Rashad 1000%. A lot of people say, I always look like I have it together. Me too, Rashad. They think I got it together. I'm just a survivor.
I should play that. Is it? Yeah.
I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up.
Okay. All right. So we went deep on that one. We went deep on a Friday, right?
And look, I'm gonna end it with this part right here is that, when Chick said that our young people's minds are fragile, listen, yeah, we have to push our young adults out of that particular zone, really, because honestly, one day we're not going to be here. Right? And they're going to have to, if we can't be your crutch forever, right? You have to stand on your own 2 feet and you have to figure out a way to manage whatever the challenges are in your life, because I won't always be here to pick you up, and you gotta do this. You have to do this thing. And that's all I have to say.
Okay. So the last 40 minutes was not on the agenda.
Right. Totally not.
But hey, we love the fact we designed this to be organic. And this was definitely organic today. Okay. And speaking on one of the things we talked about earlier is getting used to the technology on your phone. I mentioned a few minutes ago, I did a transaction, a transfer, boom, just got a notification from guess who? Cash App. That is good to go. I can keep funding Style with Taste.
Funded. Yep, you can keep me funded.
Keep her funded. You're welcome, Rashad. So yeah. So we went deep today, guys. It was something that happened organically. So obviously, I know when my wife and I talk about these things, it helps us. So hopefully, this has touched someone. Not you don't have to share what you're going through right now in this live venue, but get some help. I always like to say this, and I say this slowly, so it doesn't get misunderstood. Try to have one person in your circle that you can just open up to. Now, that person has to be a certain kind of person. Here's the key thing. Here's how you know you found that person. Okay. If you got somebody that when you go to them and they know you need to talk and they sit there and listen, actively listening, not listening to wait to give their point of view, but just listen. How do you know you found that person? They listen to you. They allow you to let it all out, and they don't say anything afterwards unless you say, well, what do you think? That's how you know you found that person. I think each of us need at least one person in our lives that we can do that with and be that comfortable with, right? And then, of course, you can always find the professional to go and talk to as well.
Right. And
Okay.
so, Chick, I read your post. You know, really, you and Angel, y'all live in two different states, okay, and cities. The only thing she needs is a computer. If y'all are doing podcasts, right, then you need a little bit more equipment.
You just need the podcast to start off. You just need the laptop and a mic. Well, you don't even need a microphone, just your laptop.
Right. You know, so if y'all just going to start off, you know, like I said, I think that, you know, using the same venue that Sam and I are using, you can certainly talk, you know, you can certainly do your thing in your different areas. And if she's closed off in an area where there's not a lot of noise, then you guys should be okay. Like you said, a laptop. Like I don't even have a microphone. I'm just using my laptop.
Right.
You know,
I got to get the mic this weekend.
Sam has a microphone. I think the benefit of having a microphone is because, like, sometimes my voice is naturally soft, and I don't know if my clarity in just speaking into the computer is always at the same pitch. You know, so a microphone would help with that.
Yeah, I say don't go out and buy a bunch of equipment initially. You can always scale up. How many times you hear me telling that to clients?
We can always scale up.
Don't put 10,000 in it. Let's just start with 1,000. We can always scale up, man. They're going to go all in immediately. Okay, yeah, I'm with you on this one, Chick. I am definitely going to the liquor store today. I ain't gonna let Janet talk me out of it today.
I still got my wine from the first virtual happy hour. I still got that same bottle of wine. I'm gonna have to take a nap before happy hour.
Yeah, I'm all wore out now. This has been a lot of energy.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, start that thing now, man. We don't know if we're gonna be here tomorrow. Start it now. Use what you got. I'm sure Angela has a computer. She can use her phone.
You can use her cell phone.
You can use her cell phone.
Yeah.
Your your mobile computer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, I mean, if it's something that you really want to do, right? You know, try it. Just try it.
Mm-hmm. And when you started, Chick, I'm gonna be on there making crazy comments like you be making on my thing. I can't wait. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'm excited for y'all to see what y'all gonna do. Yeah, I mean, listen, it took me forever. Y'all, Sam has said it. It took me forever to get on a live or anything, any type of streaming thing with him or period. Who knew I had so much to say?
I did. Because I'm here just like the whole bride debacle. Okay, I knew.
So
every day,
if we could help just one person move to their next best self, then I'm happy.
Yeah, I agree with that. So are we done? Oh, we probably didn't hit the list, but
we did actually. We hit the list. You know, the last thing on the list was the you know, the doing starting a kids LLC, and then that just segued us into something completely unexpected.
Yeah, this is one of my issues right here. All of the people that I bring on board, they always segue. Look at this team, Janet. Pat, you knew me before you knew Janet, man. You're my client. It's ridiculous.
Wait a minute. This idiot. You know, my best friend, okay? My best friend. She ain't right, y'all. She ain't right. She ain't right at all. You've been long-winded since I've known.
Tell the truth, shame the devil. There it is from a trusted source. There it is from a trusted source. Pat, I'm
She ain't cited.
condoning you,
It
Pat.
ain't trusted if she didn't cite it. Where'd she get her information
I
from?
know Sam, but I love Janet. What kind of monkey business is this, man?
That's right,
Right in front of my face. You on live Facebook, man. You gonna diss me like that? That's crazy. It happens all the time. It happens all the time.
Who run the world, girls?
It happens all the time. See, there you go, Rashad. Man, us guys got to stick. The women will stick together through thick
Ain't
and
nobody
thin,
thinking
boy.
about Rashad. Ain't nobody thinking
They
about
will stick
Rashad. You know the
together
truth.
through thick or thin. I tell you.
Even my dog sticks with me.
Man, my feelings is hurt. You know, I'm a Pisces. You know, I'm sensitive. Y'all know I'm sensitive.
Pat, I'm glad to have met you guys too. Even though, you know, a lot of people I may have met one time or we actually haven't met face to face. This is a wonderful, this is just, you know, this is why I like social media, right?
Because what is it?
People
Social.
highlight. It's social. People
Social
highlight the negative things of
media.
social media. But for me, it's a way to reach my community. My best friend lives in Indiana. We have not physically seen one another in years. And even when we see each other, it's always years and years in between. But because of social media, you know, we really don't miss a beat. Am I right? Or am I right? Am I right? Answer that question, chick. Thank you, Donna. And and it also brings me back to people that I knew, you know, as a kid, like Donna Coleman. You know, she was my classmate for many years. And of course, my family is scattered all over. You know, we have relatives in California. Sam's daughter is in California. Some of my uncles and cousins live in California. You know, for me, it's all how you perceive things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm saying that, and I'm looking at this instant message that I just got by somebody that, you know, that I thought was a friend through my relatives. But of course, this person is sending me a message about I have an offer for you. What do y'all think that is? It's nothing but a scam.
Scam alert, scam alert, scam alert.
So you know what I'm going to do?
What's my sound effect?
I'm going to unfriend this person and block them. And keep it moving.
Scam alert, scam alert, scam alert.
And keep it moving. And use this social media platform for what I use it for. Business and connecting with my family and friends. Whatever, Rashad. You done already hurt my feelings. Don't be trying to clean it up now. Okay?
He tried. He tried. He tried. He really did.
You and me, us never part, chick. You and me, us never part.
Okay. Absolutely. Scroll on by. Don't click on them links, man.
Nope.
Don't click on those links. We talked about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't feel like making lunch. Maybe we'll go get something to eat today. But are we done?
Yeah, we've talked about, we've talked about Cash App, PayPal, and their evaluations. We've talked about managing your insurance accounts and all your other, financial accounts. And we've shown how I do it. And I've even set up Sam's. Sam's phone is exactly like mine. He has his folders, as well. We talked about using the tools, learning how to use your tools like your cell phones, to help manage your life a little bit better. We've talked about what the president and the current administration is trying to do for our communities as far as our school loans.
We talked about a lot today.
And yeah, we talked about a lot. And those credit bureaus. And we've also segued into another line of creating a generational wealth for your kids by starting them as minors into having their own businesses.
Oh, and the product spotlight today was my skincare. I'm trying to think my skincare person.
Yeah, because
my personal skincare person. Check out her her website and everything.
You use her soaps and her body butters, because she actually literally created this manly body butter with you in mind. You were her test subject, and it worked.
Guinea pig.
Yeah, you were. And for me, it's really mainly the soaps for me, because I use, I'm a lady. I use different different type of moisturizers for my face, and I have a different regimen for the rest of me.
Oh snap! They coming over to my side. Well, she said she guessed. I'm gonna take that guess though. I'm gonna take that guess. I'll take it. You got to take what people gonna give you, man. I ain't even complaining.
See, we flip flop on that one. You got your chocolate drop over here, and I got Whitefoot over there. Life is good.
But at least me and Chick get along. You and Whitefoot be arguing, going off on each other all the time.
Okay, Pat. I'll let's talk about it. I'll be happy to share that with you. Yeah, I'll be happy to share that. Coffee and Chat, where is that? Our Luther Vandross of our Coffee Chat is the one and only Rashad K.
It's been a great show. It's been a good show today.
Thank you, guys.
Well, the friend giveth and the friend taketh away. Okay, now she's calling me some kind of food. I'm gonna take that too. I'm gonna take it. She said it in love. Okay.
She said it in love.
She said she said it in love. So
listen, I could be offended. I'm gonna start acting like a Karen on here.
Workout smoothies. Oh, workout smoothies. Yeah. I think I know what that is. That's about.
All right, you guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us for this edition of Coffee Chat. And we will see y'all later for virtual happy hour. I know we're all excited.
Yes, let me mention this again. Virtual happy hour has turned into an event only. If you want to partake with us, please inbox myself or Janet so I can know to invite you. That's not something you blast out.
Right.
Not that kind of party. Okay. But we have a good time. We're gonna have a good time tonight. I'm going to get some bourbon for tonight, though. Y'all got me all in my feelings. Some people kicking me to the curb. Pat.
Pat, are you going to be working tonight on the virtual happy hour? Pat be having 15 jobs, man. I ain't even mad at it.
She's part Jamaican.
Mm-hmm. Yep, my sister is too.
Yeah, definitely, right? But that's it. The music stopped and everything. We got to get out of here. I'm hungry.
All right, y'all. Ciao for now.